It's a time for pick it from China. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So sometimes I just want to pick up these tablets just to see what we're going to get. So in the previous videos we talked about the Vastking, but it was more like the budget edition. This is the M10, the king pad, and I can say this thing is actually the king. So in the previous videos we talked about fake tablets, cheap tablets, think about like $99. But this thing is basically double the price. But this thing is like double the fun and double worth it. Because this thing has awesome features, what I just wanted to discuss with you guys. So with your typical cheap China tablets, we're not going to get a lot of interesting specifications, but this is going to be a different story. But the Vastking comes with some interesting specifications. Android 11, an octa-core CPU, 2K display, 10.36 IPS touchscreen, 4GB of RAM, 128GB of internal storage, 4GB LTE network, 30 megapixel back camera and an 8 megapixel front, and Wi-Fi 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz support. So that are some fancy specifications. So can you play some games? Absolutely. But if you want to use this thing like an all-round machine, so we can also have the KingPad M10 docking keyboard case. Make this thing like a laptop. So that's what also we're going to do, and it's going to be an interesting hybrid piece of machine that we can use for home, just for office work, but also you can play some games with. But let's do a quick overview of what you're going to get in the inside. So first of all, we're going to get this very nice piece of plastic translucent paper that says what you need to look out for. Then we're going to get, of course, the system itself with a screen protector that we need to remove. In here, we're going to get the manual on everything, explanation how it works, power supply, and of course a cable to charge. But besides that, there is nothing inside the box anymore. But when it comes to the build quality of this tablet, they didn't lie on the website. They were stating this thing is a very nice high quality metal casing, and indeed it looks very nice and sturdy. And when you take a close look at the back of the device, this thing looks very nice. You still can see some fingerprints. Another thing is, like, if you don't use the casing itself, is that you need to take consideration that the cameras are sticking out a little bit, but when you're using a casing, that is of course not a big of a deal. But this thing sounds and feels very nice, but I think it's a combination of plastic and metal. So that is something you need to take consideration. So this thing is not fully made of metal. Another great feature what you're going to get over here are the speakers. We're not going to get 2 of them, but when you're turning it out, you can see that we're going to get 4 in total. But when you're looking at the quality itself, I was quite disappointed. So the volume you hear here is like fully maximum, and that is one of the disappointments. When it comes to the mid and the high, it sounds a little bit too pitchy in the high, but there is no bass whatsoever. But then overall, I was disappointed when I'm looking at different products that has like a similar price tag, comes with 2 speakers and sounds better. But then overall, it's okay. So another feature that I find quite interesting is that we're going to get the volume and the on-off switch on different sides. Over here we can put in our SD card, and it goes up to 2 terabyte, what I understand of, and we can add our SIM card if you want to use a thing like a phone. Then we're going to get here the Type-C for charging and data transfer, and at the bottom here we're going to get the connection that we're going to need for connecting with the docking station. But okay, so last but not least, the only thing that we need to show now is over here the headphone jack, because I know a lot of people will use it. Of course you have like an option to use Bluetooth connection with a headset, but this time you can also use it old school wise with a jack cable. So the King pad also comes with a gigantic pad, and this is also like a docking station in one. I found a quite interesting feature what you can buy separately, and what I do like about this thing, that makes it very nice protected. You can see like this case is gigantic compared with your, let's say, your typical casing that you like slap around it. But of course it has some awesome features. To begin with, it got with a special hinge over here, so this is like a really nice cool touch. Another thing that I do like about is that the keyboard itself, it looks like a very nice quality keyboard, the same like a typical laptop. So the thing that you need to do is click it, and I already told you the connection here in the middle will make contact with the pad, so everything needs to be working instantly without any hassle. You click it in, it feels quite sturdy, so I must say that the casing, putting the tablet in, will have to put some pressure on, but when it fits perfectly. So I must say that I'm very pleased with the result, and this thing feels really heavy now. The tablet itself weighs, without the case, a total of 446 grams. But when you're going to put the case around it, this thing is going to weigh way more than you're going to have like the separate tablet, 902 grams in total. But let's take a close look at the special cover in combination with the stand, because this is what it does. So you can bend it all the way over there. It goes very sturdy, but what I do like about it is that you don't have like an, let's say, restriction when it comes to the angle. You can put it in every single angle you want. So basically you're turning your tablet into a Chromebook, because you're going to get all the features like you're going to get with your laptop or a Chromebook in this case. For example, if you want to adjust the brightness, if you want to use the mouse, it works perfectly. We're going to get the mouse click left and right over here. So if you need to swipe, stuff like that, it works very well. So when it comes to this device, I'm very pleased with it. For example, if you want to search, it works perfectly. But before we're going to continue, let's remove the piece of plastic that came with it. So where I have seen my share of shitty displays with China products, especially tablets, this thing looks indeed amazing. A beautiful 2K IPS display, and they didn't lie when it comes to that. So even this tablet is slightly expensiver than all the other ones we've reviewed. This thing looks amazing, and for your money you're going to get a very nice product when it comes to the display. The only thing that I just need to nitpick about is that when you're looking at the bezel, you're going to get quite a big bezel on this tablet, and the width, like with more expensive, because this is basically like a more expensive piece of equipment, that you're going to get a full size display in it. And yeah, it's going to be expensive maybe to make, but it would give like a little bit of more premium feel to it. So the first thing that I wanted to do is go to Aida64, just to double check if they're not lying. Here we're going to get a nice overview of all the specifications. So this is indeed the ThinkPad M10. Then we're going to get 4 GB of RAM, and we're going to get 128 GB of storage. But of course this is slightly different when it comes to like storage that they are already using for the firmware and stuff like that. So the CPU, what you're going to get is a 6x ARM Cortex A55 that runs on 820 MHz, and 2x ARM Cortex A75 that runs on 2002 MHz. So when you're looking at the specification, it's quite interesting. Okay, so let's double check the screen resolution, that it didn't spoof with this. But here you can see like the screen resolution is 1200, and they're not lying whatsoever. Then we're going to get the GPU, that is a Mali G52. So it's a quite interesting specification list. Only refresh rate is set to 58 Hz, kind of weird if you ask me. Okay, so in total with the battery, what we're going to get is a 6000 milliamp, and last but not least, we're going to get Android version 11, and this device hasn't been rooted. Okay, so the specs, they didn't lie. So this is actually what you're going to get, what they said on the website. Okay, the other thing that we're going to do is let's play some games. Let's try out how are the performance with the Android games. Okay, so next up, let's try the first game from Android. I just picked up this game from the free-to-play store. This is Crash Bandicoot. It's going to be a lot of fun. I really love Crash Bandicoot, by the way. But you can see this game looks amazing on this tablet with a beautiful resolution screen, IPS, colorful. It's just amazing. So in the next part of the video, what I wanted to do is get myself a good Bluetooth controller. And Aida have a lot of these great things laying around. The SM30 Pro Plus is one of them. Like, they have a gazillion of these freaking things. But this is just an amazing piece of equipment. Through Bluetooth, you can connect it very easily with the tablet, and we can play some retro games. So the most important thing what I have with these controllers, that it has a good D-pad, of course, because I'm a big D-pad fan. It's kind of weird hybrid of a Super Nintendo controller with an Xbox, but in the end, like, I do like it's a high quality one, and when you're playing the games, you have like a very good experience, and they are like plug and play and getting recognized by a lot of the emulators that you can get from the Play Store. Alright, so the first game that we're going to play is Bloody Roar 2. The system has been upscaled to 2 times the resolution. I noticed like it is basically going around with 57 frames per second, and it dips to 55. I think it's not a big of a deal, but if you can't live with it, you can always downscale it back to 1. And take consideration, Bloody Roar 2 is a very demanding game, so if you're going to run different games, it's highly possible you're going to get even better performance on 2 times resolution. And what you're going to do is super move. There you're going to see it's going to get a slightly in struggle. But again, if you downscale it to 1 times of the original resolution, you don't have this issue. But the game looks amazing on 2 times resolution, and you're going to have like this beautiful IPS display. Alright, next up, N64. And I must say, like, N64 runs pretty damn good in this. Take consideration, I have upscaled it to higher resolution just to see how it looks. The performance depends what kind of game you're playing. Alright, so next up, PlayStation Portable with the all-famous God of War game. So this game is like the benchmark for the PlayStation 2 Portable. If this game runs okay or good enough, you can run so many other games. I did set it to 1 times resolution. You can mess around with frame skip, but I just want to show you what happens with the setting. Okay guys, so next up, let's try Sega Dreamcast. This has been set to full HD. Take consideration that you need to buy this application if you want to set this thing to higher resolution than the native resolution. But you can see that runs very well on this tablet whatsoever. And I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, I was losing the battle. Oh, no, I won. Ooh. Okay, so next up, and this is a really hard piece of equipment to emulate on an Android device, and then the Sega Saturn, of course. So the Vastking emulator is a really great emulator. It's still in development, what I understand of making this video. But some games are playable. You can see like having some glitches here and there, but it runs on an almost full 60 FPS. I think if you shut down the counter, you will not even notice it. But overall, a very good performance for this tablet. So when you're looking at the performance when it comes to Android gaming and emulation, it is not bad at all. And I find it quite an interesting piece of technology. So if you just want to use this for home office, of course that is possible. But if you want to play some games or you're into emulation, this thing has a lot of potential. It's more like a hybrid piece of a tablet. I love this thing for what it is. Let me know in the comments what do you think of this. Well, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become one of the Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.